Dropbox and Box, two cloud storage services that look pretty similar on paper. They target similar audiences and honestly even have similar names. And I won't hold it against you if you just realized they are actually different companies. And today, I'm comparing them head to head so you know exactly what each one brings to the table. And really, I won't beat around the bush. Dropbox wins here, but only by a thin margin. Their reason might surprise you. It comes down, in my opinion, to one critical factor that most people completely overlook when choosing cloud storage. So, if you're deciding between these two, stick around, and I'm going to break down exactly why Dropbox edges out Box, plus the specific scenarios where Box is actually the smarter choice, but it really depends on you. So, grab your favorite beverage and let's dive in. Whew. All right. Let's start with what each one actually does. And this is where you'll actually notice Dropbox and Box are, they're completely different animals. Dropbox keeps things pretty simple. They just do the essentials really, really well. Now, let's look, for example, at the Smart Sync feature. And check this out. All my files show up in File Explorer without actually downloading them until, that is, I need them, which saves me a ton of precious storage space here. And also, there is Selective Sync, which is great and super easy to use. And here's exactly how it works. I pick exactly the folders and which folders I want on my computer like this, and the rest stays basically in the cloud. It's perfect if you've got a laptop, like I have, with limited storage space. Now, collaboration in Dropbox. When I tested Dropbox Paper with my team, the commenting system worked smoothly and the real-time editing was quick and snappy. It gets the job done for like simple collaboration projects, but it's probably not replacing Google Docs for me anytime soon. And I mean, just look at how limiting the formatting options are down at the bottom here, right? So it's not really going to measure up to more advanced collaboration tools like Google Docs, who has had probably over a decade now to develop these features just for businesses and freelancers alike. Now, sharing with Dropbox is also dead simple. Let me show you here on my computer. I go to the file or folder that I want to share. I click the share option and boom, I can generate share links instantly or set password protection and expiration dates with just a couple clicks. And here's something that separates Dropbox from pretty much every other cloud storage service, and it's called Dropbox Replay. Let me show you how this works as well. I open up a video file, and instead of just playing it, I click Open in Replay. Now, watch this. I can leave frame-accurate comments at specific timestamps. So if I'm working with an editor, like I pretty much always do here at CloudWords and with my other YouTube channels, I can say right here, cut this scene at minute 2:34, and it will be exactly there where the timestamp is left, so the video editor can go in and edit that specific scene. I don't have to write at minute 2:34 because it will pick it up automatically. I leave my comment and they see exactly what I'm talking about. I can even scribble in if I wanted to. So this works for audio files too, and if you are a content creator doing client work, this is really game-changing and super fast. So there's no more emails or Slack messages sending around like around the 2 minute and one and a half mark, there maybe you have to add a red dot or something. You can get really, really, really precise and visual feedback, which is super crucial if you are a content creator. Okay. Box takes a completely different approach. They built a feature-rich platform that honestly feels more like a content management system than like a simple cloud storage system. It is, perfect for businesses if you are also a growing business that has more than 25 or 40 employees. And a perfect example, their workflow automation feature. Dropbox doesn't hold a candle to this one, and setting up automated workflows is easy enough, though there are a few steps that you need to take, and I'll show you how this works. And it's called Box Relay. I create a new workflow for document approvals in this case, right? First, I select the trigger event. In this case, it's a simple file upload in my approval folder, as you can see here. And then I choose an outcome, like creating an approval task like this. So after that, I can add assignees, I can add deadlines, I can then be pretty flexible with what I do and activate the workflow. So there's something else I really love about Box. It's the level of control you get for sharing permissions. Check this out here. I can set specific access levels for different users, say editor, viewer, previewer, and so on. I mean, look at this. There's 8 different roles I can set for anything I share, and this might be a little bit overkill for personal use, but if you are running a business with many different stakeholders, I think this granular level of control is certainly a game changer. Now also, let me talk about Box's integration in ecosystems, right? Because it's absolutely massive. So we're talking over 1,500 third-party apps in their marketplace. I obviously can't cover them all here, but you get the idea. It's super massive, super flexible. And this isn't just like checkbox marketing. Now, during my testing, I connected, for example, Slack, no problem. Salesforce, if you are a bigger client, and we've been working with bigger clients before that use these, I would call it clunky CRM software like Salesforce, but they integrate perfectly into Box and can streamline certain things. Now, Zoom, also no problem, you connect it directly to Box. And when someone shares a file in our Slack channel, it automatically saves to Box. So when I'm on a Zoom call, it's just an example, right? I can pull up Box files without leaving the meeting. And the Google Workspace and Office integrations also let you edit documents right inside Box. It's the same real-time collaboration you'd expect, but here is the thing. The Workspace integration was honestly a little bit of a pain to set up. It demanded a bunch of permissions and made me log in again even though I was already logged in, and then it just didn't work on my free account. So the Office integration overall was quite seamless. Clicked edit, Word opened, pretty much done, right? So that was quite flawless in this case. And Box also offers a solid API access. So if you're working with developers, if you have your own development team that needs to integrate systems into your custom software, devs can really whip up custom integration for whatever they need. They can access files, download files, you name it, right? So super easy to use as well and super flexible. Now, to be fair, Dropbox has integrations too, right? But Box's enterprise focus means they've got connections to practically every business tool you can think of. Okay, time to look at file versioning, right? Dropbox keeps versions for 30 days on personal plans and 180 days on business plans. You know what's even better? Their rewind feature lets you roll back your entire account all at once. So, I mean, you know me, right? I love to test really extreme scenarios. So for this one, I deliberately corrupted a bunch of files, right? And with Rewind, I was able to restore everything in one go. So even if you have people messing around with your Dropbox account, it's very easy to set it up where you started with. And Box has different priorities here. It lets me restore individual files or entire folders, but with precise control. So I simply go to File, like so, and look under Properties. And here you can select version history, like this. And from there, I can then restore the file to a previous version. And to be clear, Dropbox lets you do it this way too, right? But the account-wide rewind, wow, this is a tongue twister. The account-wide rewind is really nice in really desperate circumstances. I wouldn't use it obviously all the time, but when you need it, it's there. And Box's versioning is a little bit of stingy on personal plans though. Instead of like limiting it by time, it gives you a set number of file versions. You get one version on a free plan, yay! Which is frankly a bit ridiculous, you can't really use it. But from there, you get anywhere between 10 and 100 versions depending on what plan you're on. So you can get unlimited versions, but only on the most inaccessible enterprise plans. When I tested file size limits, wow. I mean, the differences are huge. Dropbox allows up to 2 terabytes per file on paid plans. It's basically unlimited for real-world use. And Box's limits essentially vary plan by plan. So there is basic file size limits from 5 gigabytes on basic business plans up to 150 gigabytes on Enterprise Plus. And I'm not gonna lie, I kept hitting Box's limits when working with video files, right? Which got really frustrating. It got frustrating pretty quick because, I mean, cameras are getting better, resolutions are getting better, and when I'm experimenting even with raw file formats, I mean, files are just freaking huge, right? It's really, it's for video creators, it's not ideal because, yeah, your needs might grow on a long-term basis. And also, I think even on the enterprise plans, they should offer an unlimited file size solution like so many other cloud storage services do. So their decision there to cap it is not really business focused, I would say. And we also obviously got to talk about the search capabilities, right? Because you need to find your files quick, especially if you have a lot and thousands of files and you have a lot of departments, if you are a business user that you're working with, right? So Dropbox offers full text search that can find content even inside documents. So let me show you how this works. Here's a document with, as you see, some text on it. Now, I can put some of that same text into the search bar and Dropbox will find it, like so. Boom, see, there it is. And it's also pretty fast and painless. And Box's search feature is more advanced and more for business use. You can search by file properties, you can search by collaborator history, you can even find files based on a certain workflow status. Now, check this out. I can click on the filter icon and you can see all the different search options Box gives me right here. So, who takes the win here? Look, it honestly really depends. Dropbox wins, in my opinion, for simplicity and consumer-focused features that really just work. And Box wins if you need enterprise-grade workflow automation. You need really granular controls, as we've seen in one of the examples, and extensive business integrations with your own API. Well, Dropbox also has an API, don't get me wrong, but Box seems to be able to pinpoint specific needs a bit better. And, well, in terms of integrations, I guess we can call it a draw because honestly, who cares if it's 1,500 or 1,550 integrations, right? As long as the main integrations are there, which they are. Obviously, if you have some fringe app that only integrates with Box, well, then this makes your decision even easier. All right, let's talk about what it's actually like using these services day to day. And I put both providers through their paces with everything from simple file sharing to really complex workflows. Again, Dropbox nails the fundamentals. And when I set up their desktop client, it really just worked. I mean, files synced instantly across all my devices. The interface is clean and intuitive. And honestly, it really stays out of your way, which is exactly what you want from sync software. You want to get done with business, right? You want to get things running. You don't want to think about how do I need to sync what and how does it work and is it on my computer or not? It just works. And when I started using Box, I noticed, I would say, a more corporate approach to like everything. The interface is clean, yeah, sure, but it definitely feels more business oriented. It's less about like making things feel effortless and more about giving you precise control over every little detail. So you might need even watch a few onboarding tutorials if you want to get started with Box. And Box's workflow automation that I showed you earlier, yeah, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I've been using it. I really find it useful, but I mean, I showed you this earlier, right? It's a learning curve. I had to click through several menus and options to really get things done and get really the things I wanted. And once you figure it out, it really works well, but it's definitely not as immediately intuitive as Dropbox. Now, the mobile experience, right, tells a little bit of a different story. And let me break down how I actually use each one on my phone. Now, the Dropbox apps have a really satisfying feel to them. Everything feels smooth, and when I upload photos from my phone, or I want to access files offline or share content, it's super easy, right? And Box's apps are, they're functional, but they feel more utilitarian to me. You can do everything you need to, but it lacks that smooth, consumer-friendly polish that Dropbox has mastered. And they were one of the first people and one of the first companies to offer this cloud storage thing. So they were, when they started, a consumer-first company. And this DNA is still baked into that product. While Box was, right from the get-go, more of a business-facing solution. Dropbox now saw the value in enterprise customers, nice recurring revenue, right? So obviously they've turned their software more into an enterprise solution as well, but the roots and the DNA is still consumer-facing. And Dropbox takes gold for this user experience. It just feels more intuitive. It just gets out of your way, as I said before. I just want to get done with business. And Box has more powerful features under the hood, but it requires more learning to use as well. And if you want something that works beautifully right out of the box, I think, personally, Dropbox is your answer. Okay, we obviously got to talk about speed. And I tested both providers from Dublin using a throttled 1 gigabit per second connection, uploading and downloading my usual 5 gigabit folder that includes a mix of files and formats, huge videos, thousands of small documents, and like a little bit of everything in between, right? So to just mimic a typical user scenario here. Dropbox gave a pretty solid performance. Uploads average 7 minutes and 21 seconds, and downloads were a tick faster at 7 minutes and 20 seconds. It's pretty consistent in speeds, both upload and downloads. But when I removed the bandwidth throttling, Dropbox uploads came in at 4 minutes and 20 seconds, while downloads took just 4 minutes and 12 seconds. And honestly, that is pretty darn fast. But something felt off. So, you know me, I do like to do a little more digging into their infrastructure, and well, I learned something that Dropbox doesn't really advertise. They throttle speeds based on your ISP, your location, and file types. So I confirmed this through multiple test runs. Sometimes you'd hit maximum speed immediately. Other times, it would crawl along at a fraction of your available bandwidth. Box, on the other hand, it was much more consistent. Uploads took 7 minutes and 9 seconds on average, and downloads ran an average of 7 minutes and 36 seconds. So the speeds were more stable than my grandparents' 50-year-old marriage, essentially. But when I stress tested it with massive file uploads, it stayed consistent with no weird throttling issues like I saw with Dropbox. So that's something to consider. Now, here's where Box had me, scratching my head. The no throttle tests, right? I didn't expect the speeds to be the same when throttled. They are near identical. Uploads were 6 minutes and 58 seconds, and downloads came in at 7 minutes and 20 seconds. At least Box handled large files much more gracefully than Dropbox, regardless of essentially what I threw at it. I also look at CPU usage, which was pretty stable and pretty much the same for both providers. And here's something most people don't consider: reliability under stress. To test this, I intentionally interrupted my Box transfers by going offline mid-sync, literally yanking out the network cable. And I also did this for Dropbox, right? Obviously, we have to look at the two providers here. And Box consistently resumed transfers exactly where they left off. And Dropbox occasionally required me to restart transfers from the beginning, which is super frustrating when you're really dealing with large files, right? And as I said before, I do this constantly with my video files. And during my stress testing, I uploaded 100,000 files to both services to really see how they handle it. Dropbox didn't flinch, right? It just started uploading right away. No lag, no crashes, really no drama. I could scroll through folders with thousands of files each, and everything stayed responsive, snappy, and fast. And Box was a little bit of a different story. The app became sluggish and eventually crashed during the upload. So when I restarted, It picked up where it left off, but the upload speed was noticeably slower. Now, will you ever upload 100,000 files at once? Probably not, but this tells you something about how these servers handle pressure. And I honestly wonder why this result happens, because Box markets itself as the enterprise solution, right? And if you want to migrate your whole business or your enterprise into a new cloud storage system, then yeah, for sure, you might upload 10,000 files at the same time because you want to keep everything in sync, right? But it really tells me how these services handle pressure. So if you're managing large projects with thousands of assets, Dropbox is built for that scale, and Box is optimized for more document workflows where you're not dealing with massive file volumes. Maybe Box just focused too much on the AI craze and should have really worked a bit more on their infrastructure, right? So overall, for me, Dropbox wins the performance round, but it's really closer than expected. Box was more consistent and better at handling larger files, but Dropbox was a bit faster and also more reliable under heavy load. So if you know that you're gonna push 100,000 files at once onto the servers, then yeah, you might want to consider Dropbox instead. All right, we obviously also got to talk money, right? And heads up, this section gets, I would say, a bit complicated, so stick with me. You can also just click on the links below and go to the pricing page if you want to explore that on your own. And Dropbox keeps things pretty simple with its personal plans. You get 2 terabytes for around $10 a month, or 3 terabytes for just under $17 for the professional plan. It's decent value when you consider what you're really getting. And Dropbox doesn't mess around with confusing tiers. So you either get the basic stuff or you really get the full package, right? And their business plans start at $15 per user per month for 5 terabytes of shared storage with a minimum of 3 users. Now for Box, I admit, it took me a while to figure out their tiered system. The business starter plan hits you with just $7 per user per month. Well, but here's the catch. You only get 100 gigabyte per user, and that sounds cheap until you realize you'll blow through that storage in about 2 weeks if you're working with any kind of media files or a lot of documents, right? And Box does promise unlimited storage once you hit their business plan at around $15 per user per month. Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. And look, I've been burned before with fake promises of unlimited storage. I even made a video about it, well, happening that you can check out, well, when you click the link here. Oh no, sorry, it's this side at the, on that video, right? But unlimited storage is always a little bit iffy because usually there is some kind of throttle. Either it's a bandwidth throttle or it's a file size throttle, in the case of Box, but it's never really truly unlimited unless you pay a lot of money, right? Anyway, I stress tested Box with all my might, uploading terabytes of data to see just how far I could push it, and Box didn't throttle me or complain once. So that's genuinely impressive. And of course, features like advanced security controls and larger file upload limits are locked behind the more expensive business plans. I mean, but still, it's a pretty good deal for unlimited storage if you ask me, and it seems to be one of the few providers that still keep their unlimited storage promise. So if you need a lot of storage, then you might want to go with Box. And speaking of pricing, I've got the best deals for both of the services linked in the description box below, and I keep these links obviously updated with the latest promotions and custom discounts so we can negotiate specifically for our viewers. And after years in this space, we've built relationships that lets us basically secure better deals than you'll find elsewhere. So go and click the links in the description to check those out. And to me, the winner of the pricing section is Dropbox, but I've got to give Box credit for their unlimited storage. And if you're dealing with massive data sets or you're in a field like video production where storage is basically unpredictable or very much predictable but extremely huge, Box's unlimited plans are essentially a no-brainer and could actually save you money in the long run. Otherwise, Dropbox just gives you the right bang for your buck. Okay. Let's dig into security, right? And if you've been around this channel before, you know this is my top priority. And if you love videos that put security first, make sure to hit that subscribe button to always get the latest updates, okay? So both services use AES 256-bit encryption for data at rest, which is what most cloud storage providers do, and both use TLS encryption for data in transit. So your files are protected while traveling between your device and their servers. It's so far, yeah, it's pretty standard stuff, right? There is one key difference though. Dropbox manages your encryption keys for you, which means they can technically access your files if required by law enforcement or if there's a security breach. I tested this using Wireshark, and yeah, Dropbox can indeed decrypt your data on their servers. They're transparent about this and their privacy policy, but it's something many users don't really realize. Now, Box took a different approach with their Key Safe feature. It's an optional paid add-on available on most of their business plans, and you've got to pay extra, but you get complete control over your encryption keys. Now, I have to be straight with you about Dropbox's security history because it's not really great, right? In 2012, Dropbox had a major breach that exposed 68 million user accounts. They didn't even publicly acknowledge the full scope until 2016, and in 2022, attackers got into 130 of Dropbox's internal code repos through a phishing attack. And in 2024, their e-signature service, Dropbox Sign, got breached, exposing customer emails, usernames, well, and phone numbers. To their credit, after each incident, they improved their security, right? And they're a very front-facing service, so they got a lot of attacks on their infrastructure. Now, they have strong encryption at rest and in transit, but here's the thing that bothers me a little bit. When I dug into their privacy settings, I found this toggle that you see here, essentially, that says, "Do not sell or share my information." And guess what? It was off by default. So while the encryption is solid, the privacy practices are, I would say, a bit questionable. On the other hand, Dropbox has made significant strides in enterprise security, especially after acquiring Boxcryptor in 2022. They're rolling out end-to-end encryption, but only for their advanced business customers for now. So the initial plan was to roll it out to more users eventually, but it's been almost like 4 years. So what's the holdup, Dropbox? I don't know. It's probably costs. It's more complicated. It adds more friction to the everyday user that might not want it. So I think they're going to postpone it. They're going to postpone it and postpone it. So we're not going to see it in the personal plans anytime soon. Okay, moving on to other security features that we need. Both offer obviously two-factor authentication with SMS or an authenticator app. And if you pay for Box KeySafe, you can set up hardware security keys. And Dropbox supports a passkey on some plans, and for accounts with admins, I can set up single sign-on. So that's pretty good. Now, I have to give kudos to Box for the threat detection capabilities, which use machine learning to catch suspicious activity. And I set up some suspicious activity patterns, and Box Shield caught them immediately and provided detailed alerts on their systems. And Dropbox just lags behind in this area. Their ransomware detection is simply, I would say, not as advanced. And the clear winner for security and privacy is Box, especially if you're dealing with sensitive data or operating in a regulated industry. And Dropbox has adequate security for most personal and small business use, but Box's enterprise-grade security features are in a different league entirely. Okay, before I give you my final verdict, if this comparison helped you to choose the right cloud storage solution, you obviously want to hit that subscribe button for more honest tech reviews. And I test these services, as you can see in this in-depth review, so you don't have to waste time with the wrong choice. Okay, so here's my final verdict. Dropbox wins overall, but it's not a straightforward choice. I recommend Dropbox if you want simplicity, if you want speed, a seamless device integration, very important if you're working with multiple users, multiple machines, laptops, phones, computers. It's perfect for individual users, small teams, and anyone who values ease of use above everything else. And the sync performance is excellent for day-to-day use. Now, their apps are super polished, and the overall experience just works without requiring technical expertise. And if you're dealing with sensitive data, well, you need advanced collaboration, or your business operates in a regulated industry, I think Box is the way to go. You have enterprise-grade security, you've got unlimited storage options, and the level of control you get as admin is just, yeah, it makes it a better option for you simply. And the prices match this too, obviously, right? Individual users will find better deals with Dropbox's straightforward plans, while like larger teams might actually save money with Box's unlimited storage tiers, especially if they're dealing with large data volumes. So what's your experience been with Dropbox or Box? You can obviously drop a comment and let me know which feature matter most to your workflow. And if there's another cloud storage service you want me to compare, I'm always taking requests for future deep dives. And remember, the best cloud storage service is the one that fits your actual needs, not the one with the flashiest marketing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.